Hello viewers, in this video I will discuss about Carnot engine. So before talking about Carnot engine, let us see a heat engine operating between two temperature reservoirs. So let us now take a heat engine which operates between two reservoirs. One is hot reservoir at temperature T1. So here we have a heat engine and a cold reservoir at temperature T2. So we have a heat engine operating between two temperature reservoirs T1 and T2. So now I want this heat engine to be an ideal engine. I want this to be an ideal engine. So to make this possible, it should be a reversible heat engine. It should be a reversible heat engine. For this reversible heat engine, the process should be a quasi-static process in which there is no even a finite temperature difference. If this is possible, we say that the engine is ideal engine if it is a reversible heat engine. Okay, so now what is the definition of this Carnot engine? Now the definition of this Carnot engine, it says that any reversible heat engine operating between two temperatures. So any reversible heat engine operating between two temperatures, we call it as Carnot engine. Okay, so for this reversible conditions, to make it this reverse here, we see that what is the main condition is the heat supplied and heat rejected. Heat supplied and heat rejection takes place at, see that it takes place at constant temperature. Takes place at constant temperature, which says that the process should be isothermal process. So this heat supplied, see here, the heat supplied Q1, heat rejected Q2 should be taken under isothermal process. And for this reversible condition, see we follow a cycle, that is it is moved from T1 to T2, again it moves from T2 to T1. For this reversible to take place, it should be taken under adiabatic process. So this is possible only if it is taken under adiabatic process. Because in case of adiabatic process, you know that there is no heat supplied inside or no heat rejection, so the heat transfer is zero. So we are preferring adiabatic process. So other than adiabatic process, if we prefer some other process, we need some series of reservoirs to maintain the proper heat transfer. So for that, we are using only adiabatic process. So by using these processes, isothermal and adiabatic, we have a cycle. We follow a cyclic process for this to be reversible. That cycle we call it as Carnot cycle. So we follow a cycle, that name we call it as Carnot cycle. So what are the processes involved in this Carnot cycle? See, first we are having isothermal expansion followed by we see that adiabatic expansion. Okay, next we have isothermal compression followed by we have adiabatic compression. Okay, these are the processes involved in your Carnot cycle. Okay, so we will see this process in your PV diagram. We draw a PV graph. In this graph, we will represent this process individually. So here we have pressure volume diagram. Okay, so these are the process involved. We have expansion and compression. So first see that initially it is at point, this is at P1, V1 and T1. Okay, so now we see that it follows isothermal expansion. So you see that we have isothermal expansion. So when it is expanded, you know that the pressure reduces, volume increases, but see that the temperature remains constant. So it is moved to P2, V2, but T1 remains the same. Okay, so next we have again followed by adiabatic expansion. So we have adiabatic expansion. Okay, so this is isothermal expansion. Isothermal expansion. This is adiabatic expansion. Okay, so it moves to P3, V3 and T2. So it has moved from T1 to T2. Okay, so we have followed isothermal expansion and adiabatic expansion. Okay, so now I will explain it. See that, consider this as a cylinder and this as your piston. Imagine this as your piston. So see, first we have isothermal expansion. So see that it moves slowly, it comes down, it comes down, comes down, comes down. So isothermal expansion followed by in one stroke itself. See in case of adiabatic expansion, see the area should be insulated so that only it could follow this adiabatic process, because there should be no heat transfer inside outside. So it is insulated. Okay, for just for a sake of understanding, I have pasted it in the paper. So followed by adiabatic expansion. In one stroke itself, we are having this isothermal and adiabatic. Okay, so this is the step followed here. So after isothermal expansion, adiabatic expansion, next we have isothermal compression. So we have compression. Okay, so it is compressed. So you know the pressure is increased and now we see that volume gets reduced. So this point we say it as V4, V4 and it is T2, because here we have isothermal compression, isothermal compression. Then again it moves to the initial stage. Imagine this is as P1 and V1. So this is adiabatic compression. Okay, this is adiabatic compression. See, from the starting point from T1, it follows T1, T2. Again, it moves to T1. This is possible only we have considered these processes. Okay, so in case of this adiabatic compression, see, isothermal, first it has isothermal compression followed by adiabatic compression. Okay, isothermal compression and adiabatic compression. Okay. This is a cycle followed in case of your Carnot cycle. Okay. So now what is the efficiency of this Carnot cycle or engine? So what is the efficiency of this Carnot engine? You see that work done by heat supplied. So work done, you know that Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. This heat supplied, heat rejected by Q1, which is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. In terms of temperature, it is 1 minus T2 by T1. So normal heat engine, this is the efficiency of a Carnot engine. So now my question is, next thing is whether Carnot engine is possible. Whether Carnot engine is possible. Okay, So for this question, my answer is no. Why? Why? See the first point. Why it is not possible? So here we see that the process, the movement of the piston, like what I've shown you, the movement of the piston should be frictionless process. So if it is only frictionless, we could carry this reversible process, but it is not at all possible. So there will be some amount of friction. So frictionless, it is not at all possible. And the second thing, heat transfer at constant temperature. They say that heat transfer takes place at constant temperature in this process. It is also not at all possible. There will be some kind of temperature potential. There will be some temperature difference. And the third thing, see this isothermal is a slow process. Okay, then this adiabatic is a fast process. Okay, so this is simultaneous movement. Okay, the simultaneous, see here, the simultaneously, see, slow, suddenly fast, but this is not a possible. For example, imagine that you are walking very slowly in a road. Suddenly, if I want to run according to this 100-meter race speed, means whether it is possible? No. Speed could be increased little bit. Suddenly, we cannot increase up to a high speed. Okay, that is not at all possible. Okay, so isothermal followed by adiabatic in one stroke itself. That is in one movement itself. Isothermal followed by adiabatic, it is not at all possible. Okay, but they say that it is isothermal adiabatic followed in a single process. So these are the reasons considered to make this Carnot engine not at all possible. So you know that it is not at all possible. Then why we are learning it? Why we are considering it? Because let us take this Carnot engine as a standard, as a benchmark. Okay, so we will move towards this benchmark. So we see that our heat engine is that much efficient when compared to this 100% efficiency engine. We are comparing. Okay, like in many subjects we have 100 out of 100. This 100 is the top level mark, but we are moving towards 100. So in most cases we will be not getting that 100, but how much our engine is efficient towards this Carnot engine. Okay, so this is taken as a standard. So for that reason only we are considering it, we are taking a great effort in learning about this Carnot engine. Okay, so this is about Carnot engine, and now, so it is named as Carnot engine because it was created by a person called Carnot. We will see about, so another thing is given by Carnot, that is called as Carnot theorem. So what is this Carnot theorem? So in Carnot theorem, he says that any heat engine operating between two temperatures, the efficiency will not be greater than reversible heat engine. So reversible heat engine efficiency is always the top level engine. There will not be any efficiency of any engine which is more than a reversible heat engine. That is not at all possible. That is given by Carnot theorem. Whatever may be the heat engine, that the efficiency will be always less than the reversible heat engine. It cannot be more than. Okay, that is the point given by Carnot. Then we have another statement. So Carnot engine efficiency does not depend on the nature of the working substance. Does not depend what is the nature of the working substance. It does not depend on the nature of the system, okay, of the working substance. These are the statements given by Carnot as a theorem. Okay, so now we'll see what is the, now we'll see the proof of this Carnot theorem. Okay, we will see the proof of this Carnot theorem. So let us consider an arrangement like this. Okay, let us consider an arrangement like this. Let us take a reservoir at temperature T1. From this, heat is supplied to a heat engine. This heat engine is considered as irreversible heat engine. Okay, so let us take a heat Q1 is given as input to this heat engine. It releases a heat Q2 to this reservoir, which is maintained at temperature T2. Okay, so now we have another reversible refrigerator. See, this is a reversible refrigerator. So this Q2 is given as input to this reversible refrigerator, which releases again this heat Q1 to this temperature, this hot reservoir. See, a cycle is followed. So here we see that this heat engine does some work. This work is given as input to this refrigerator. See, there is no wastage. See, all it is being utilized properly. See, from this reservoir, Q1 is given as input to this irreversible heat engine. So it utilizes this heat and some work is done. Okay, then some heat is released as Q2 to this reservoir T2 at the maintained temperature T2. So this Q2 is given to this refrigerator. This refrigerator absorbs this heat Q2, and this work, by getting this work input, it releases the heat Q1 to this reservoir. Okay, so here there is no wastage at all. So we see that there is no wastage at all. So from this we can say that it is an ideal engine. When person sees that, we see that the arrangement looks like a ideal engine. Whether it is possible to make this possible, see that the efficiency of this irreversible heat engine should be more than the efficiency of this reversible heat engine, because it could supply work to this reversible heat engine only if it has a efficiency more than this reversible heat engine. Okay, because this heat engine we are considering it as irreversible, this as reversible. Okay, whether if this condition is maintained, this arrangement is possible, but this is not possible by this Carnot theorem. He says that there is no heat engine which has efficiency greater than reversible heat engine. So this is being violated here. So this arrangement is not at all possible. This is the proof of this Carnot theorem. Okay. So finally, so we have seen what is a Carnot engine, and what is the process involved in this Carnot engine, and what are the cyclic process involved, and why it is not at all possible. So we have seen the reason for Carnot engine impossible, and we have seen the Carnot theorem statements, and we have also seen the proof of this Carnot theorem in this video. Okay, thank you.